the Deputy Director General of Education in charge of access and quality, the Deputy Registrar in charge of operations at the National Teaching Council, the National President, NAT, of Executive of NAT, CCT, NAGRAT, civil society organizations here present, NUCTS, our distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Today marks another important day in our National Symposium for Academic and Professional Development that will be deliberating on one topic that I consider to be very foundational and important as far as our education, quality education in Ghana is concerned. And it is on the principles of teacher professional excellence and portfolio development. Just as my two previous speakers have already indicated, I can assure you a very solid foundation has been laid, particularly by the first and second speakers, that I don't have much to do regarding setting up a preamble. And I'm so grateful for the wonderful, impactful, and fantastic presentation they made. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to join them to celebrate our gallant professional teachers across the country for the great job they've been doing in contributing to the development of Ghana, and more specifically, the development of quality education in Ghana. And I want us, as a form of introduction, to look at the teacher as a leader and an icon of inspiration. My studies over the past 5 years of great and renowned leaders across the world, both past and present, have revealed that all great leaders in the world, whether present or past, were one time either teachers by profession or teachers by operation. All great leaders. So when I conducted this study and I came to this conclusion, I was so much inspired. Any renowned leader you know in the world that is being celebrated by generation upon generation, either present or past, was either a professional teacher or a teacher by operation. And you can talk about Martin Luther King Jr., he was a teacher. Nelson Mandela, he was a teacher. Mahatma Gandhi, he was a teacher. Madame Teresa, she was a teacher. The Prophet Muhammad, he was a teacher. Even our Lord Jesus Christ, he was a teacher. All great leaders in the world, both present and past, had been teachers. So I asked the question, why is it that teaching as a profession is common to all great leaders in the world, both present and past? And the answer is very simple. In all generations, leaders that have vision, and we all know visions move nations and companies. Any visionary or any leader that has a vision, and that vision needs to be communicated and transmitted from one generation to the other, that vision must be taught, shared, and disseminated. Any vision that is not taught or shared will always die with the visionary. Let me repeat that. Any vision, no matter how golden or powerful the vision is, if the vision is not taught or shared with succeeding generation, when the visionary dies, the vision dies. That explains why all great leaders in the world were one time either teachers by profession or teachers by operation. In the same vein, no matter how powerful the vision of a nation is, that vision will have to be transmitted from one generation to the other by some great professional called the teacher. And that is why some educationists define education as the transmission of culture, values, morals from one generation to the other. And that is basically why we are here today. Apart from that, the teacher is an architect, a bedrock, and a torchbearer of education. Take away the teacher as far as education is concerned, and as far as particularly quality education is concerned, and the nation comes down crumbling to the ground. That explains the central role of the Ghanaian teacher as far as educational development or quality education is concerned. The teacher is a candle, it's like a candle that burns or consumes himself out as light for others. And that's why I believe, and that is my philosophy, that when the teacher gets it right, all others will get it right. That explains why anytime at all there is a new curriculum to roll out. And we all know a curriculum is a blueprint of a document that must reflect the aspirations, the values, the future of a nation, what the nation wants and how they must get it, where the nation wants to get to and how they must get there. All are inculcated, all are normally, taken into consideration in designing the curriculum. For example, if a nation lacks qualified engineers, they will make sure that the curriculum they develop caters for that. When a nation lacks qualified doctors, nurses, teachers, accountants, human resource in any area of life, they make sure that that need is catered for in their curriculum. In that, by the next 20 years, 25 years, the needed manpower we need in medicine, in law, in education, in construction are all provided. They are all catered for as a result of the implementation of the curriculum. When this important blueprint is designed, ladies and gentlemen, it is not given to the politician for implementation or operationalization. It is not given to the lawyer for implementation or personalization. It is not given to the medical doctor. It is not given to the engineer. It is given to one single most important professional in every nation, called the teacher, who will see to the implementation and operationalization of the curriculum to produce the right needed manpower to champion and man the affairs of our country. We, therefore, as teachers, we constitute the most important foundation that determines the socio-economic development of every nation across the world. And that is the voice I want to add to the appreciation given to teachers and the recognition we need to give to teachers as far as our educational development is concerned. On that score, ladies and gentlemen, if you look around the world, any nation that takes for granted the needs of teachers and will not inspire the teachers to inspire the younger generation, will not empower the teacher to empower the younger generation, those nations suffer terribly in terms of development across the world. So on that score, I want to indicate here, ladies and gentlemen, that upon all these massive contribution of the teacher to the development of Ghana and education in particular, there was a period in the history of Ghana that the position of the teacher was in limbo as to whether the teacher in Ghana was a professional or not a professional. This debate went on and on and on until sometime a minister of state named Woodhull came out and made a statement when teachers went on strike, and all efforts to persuade the teachers to go to the classroom and teach proved futile as they were pressing and pushing for their demands to be met. The minister came out and said, if the teachers will not go to the classroom and teach, we will look around and we will go to the street and look for ex-servicemen and women to replace them in the classroom, and they will keep on teaching. This angered a lot of teachers across the world, across Ghana, and justifiably so. What that statement meant was that teachers, despite our crucial role we play in education, it means we could be easily done without. This sparked up the debate and even intensified the debate all the more regarding whether teaching was really a profession. Because there was no way a minister of state could have made the same statement concerning nurses if they had gone on strike. There was no way the same statement could have been made of doctors if they had gone on strike. The question was, why the teacher? So this heightened the debate to really position the teacher in his right place as far as education was concerned. And the union leaders, very powerful group of people, other key stakeholders in education, waved into the debate. And I can assure you, it was part of it that resulted, what came to resolve the whole issue, in my view, was the national teacher standards. Before then, we didn't have any yardstick or any benchmark by which you could categorize or you could define who a professional teacher was, because until there is a benchmark, whatever you cannot benchmark, you cannot measure. And whatever you cannot measure, you cannot manage. And at that time, we did not have any benchmark by which we could define who a professional teacher was. As a result of that, we have the teaching field being infiltrated by people who were not qualified teachers, quote unquote, and we used to call them people teachers. The reason a lot of people had difficulty in defining as to whether the teaching was a profession or not was the fact that it was infiltrated by non-professional teachers. People could just come to the university with their raw degree and they were posted directly to secondary to schools to teach our children, together with those who went to the universities and did education, colleges of education, and all that. And at that time, there was you will not hear anything like people nurse, people daughter, people lawyer. It was only in the teaching field you could hear people teacher. So with the introduction of the National Teacher Standard, the line was drawn. And the stage was set to categorically and emphatically define who a qualified professional teacher was. And the National Teacher Standard actually represented the first ever collectively agreed standard to guide teachers' preparation and practice in this country. It was based on the standard that one could actually decipher. With the standard defines the minimum knowledge acceptable, the minimum knowledge a teacher must have, the minimum acceptable knowledge a teacher must have before we can entrust the Ghanaian child into his or her hand. The standard defines the minimum acceptable attitude and values a teacher must have before we can confidently entrust the Ghanaian child into his or her hands. The standard defines the minimum acceptable practice that a teacher must demonstrate before we can confidently, as Ghanaians, entrust the precious Ghanaian child into his or her hands. With the introduction of this standard, many of those we used to call people teachers were automatically spat out by the system, and the system started gaining credibility. The teaching started getting, teachers started getting their rightful position in society. And there's no way up to now, up to today, there's no way any individual or organization can make the same statement that was ever made. Because if we have a standard by which we could measure as to who a qualified professional teacher is and who is not a qualified professional teacher. Standards are supposed to delineate between mediocrity and excellence. With a standard or a benchmark that has been set, anything below the standard is not acceptable in our educational system, will not be acceptable in teaching in the teaching profession. Anything above that, anything from that and above will certainly be accepted. And that is all the standard was set to do. The standard has been developed as a professional tool to guide teacher educators, teachers, student teacher, and other stakeholders in education to identify in clear and precise terms what teachers are expected to know and be able to do. Quality teachers are expected to possess, and some behavior to be exhibited or demonstrated. That is all the standard is about. The teacher standard, they are the documented materials that present what teachers should know, value, and do. Yesterday, our distinguished speaker, Dr. Mrs. Cecilia Islam, delivered a very wonderful, and she hammered on this particular point. That's why I said she has built a very strong foundation upon which I'm going to build my presentation. So, talking about the domains, talking about the standard, we are actually talking about the three domains of the National Teacher Standard. And these three domains include professional values and attitudes, as I've mentioned, professional practice, and professional knowledge. All our activities, all our professional practices are anchored on these three domains. And with these three domains, the regulator is in a better position to evaluate our performances, our practices, our activities on the field of teaching, because that is a standard that has been set. Without this, it will be difficult for you to measure, to evaluate, and to objectively criticize anyone in practice. And as I said, this domain, these three domains of the National Teacher Standard was not fashioned out by any individual. It was a collective effort made by all major key stakeholders in education, including our union leaders, GEs, and other key stakeholders in education came together to come out with this National Teacher Standards. In all this, ladies and gentlemen, the center of attention for the implementation of the National Teacher Standard is the Ghanaian child. We realized over the years that the common curriculum or the old curriculum was not serving the purpose as it was designed. And there was a need to have a shift from the content and structure that was only concentrated on past Symposium examination to training and nurturing values and building character and training the Ghanaian child to become more competitive in the global market. And all these things were infused in the new curriculum as eloquently indicated yesterday by Doug, the deputy registrar. So what do we expect if we are to implement and all comply with the National Teaching Council in the implementation of the new curriculum and also in ensuring that the standards as we have collectively agreed and set up for ourselves is met to the full? This is the new Ghanaian child we all expect, a global citizen, one that is competent, courageous, brave, confident to mount on any global platform and compete favorably with other of their counterparts in any part of the world. Not this particular curriculum is meant to deliver our young ones from the spirit of mediocrity, timidity, fear. They move out boldly, demonstrating their competence in every global in any global platform. This particular curriculum, and for that matter, the implementation of the National Teacher Standard, will lead to creativity, innovation, producing critical thinkers, problem solvers, team players, good communicators, digital literate, patriotic citizens, team leaders, and above all, independent-minded individuals that can contribute to the development of Ghana. And that is the dream of the Ghanaian child. And this is the kind of child we have been called upon, all of us, to contribute to developing. Having said that, I want us to look at some professional ethics and excellence that must go along with our practice, the demonstration of our knowledge, and then the manifestation of our values and attitudes. I will define ethics here as moral standard grounded in principle that govern our beliefs, behavior, and conviction. Ethics are mental attitude based on beliefs that must control our behavior. Or in our practice as professionals, we must be guided by ethics. In fact, ethics to prevent us from actually soiling and dragging the name of the profession into the mud. And as we can see from the definition, it's a moral standard that is grounded in principle. And every professional, apart from the principles that guide our operations as professionals, we must also have our personal principle that we will tell ourselves, no matter the situation, I will never cross this, I will never go this low. Those are moral standards. A man or a woman without principles is a small man or woman. If you live life without principle, you live a life of mediocrity, a life of averageness, and a life that will not be admired by many, because you will not be consistent in your behavior, you will not be consistent in your convictions, and you will not be consistent in your beliefs. I want us to look at some model code of educator ethics I call the MCE. Number one is responsibility to the profession. All professional teachers across the country, we must all know this, that we are responsible to the profession that we have held so dear, and that is very important. We are all responsible. We are responsible to project the good name and the good image of the teaching profession. Sometimes it's sad that as you sit down with some group of teachers and they pass comments like, what is this bogus teaching profession, and yet the CEO, yet the CISO, yet the director is always on us to prepare lessons, bring this, bring that. What is this bogus? How can you denigrate our profession, insult our profession to that level? This bogus profession, and some even call it Ghana empty service. These are on the side, these are the jovial side of it. But it is true that we hear people denigrate our profession in the midst of other professionals, other people from different professional groups. That's unfortunate. We have, no matter the situation, we are supposed to project the good image of the profession. Even if you have the intention of ever leaving this noble profession, hold it dear and hold it sacred until you leave or whatsoever. I remember I encountered a number of our colleagues who, as Dr. Esna was saying, who after describing, so this particular training, for me, there's no need proceeding to learn and to grow in this profession. Very soon I'll be leaving. Very soon I'll be leaving. They will keep on telling you that very soon. For me, the teaching is a stepping stone. For me, the teaching is a stepping stone. Those teachers have been saying this for the past 20 years, and they have not learned. How can you be stepping on a stone for 20 years and yet you are not, and yet you are still standing on it? See, the fact is that once you have found yourself in here, let's do what we can do to preserve and project the good name and the good image of the profession. Very important. And those who keep on saying, for me, my uncle is in Accra, my uncle is here, our government has won power, and I'm going to be elevated, I will soon be leaving the teaching field. Please, we all know that. But there is a need for us to preserve the good image of the profession in which we have found ourselves. Number two, responsibility for professional competence. We are individually responsible for the professional growth and for our own professional growth, development, and competence. It is not a collective affair. It is an individual affair. And that is why I'm always of the view that no director, no CISO should force any teacher to attend a workshop or attend a workshop to upgrade his knowledge or upgrade his knowledge and skills. Because by virtue of our professionalism, we cannot remain at one point without growing. We need to keep on upgrading ourselves. Had it not been for this professional development program that have been instituted by the National Teaching Council, those days, before the implementation of all these policies and principles, you could see a teacher completing the university or completing college of education, and for 5 to 10 years, no course, no additional learning, and that has been, and such teachers remain. As things are changing, they keep on pumping the same old stuff that they've learned from the college onto our children, and the children have even outgrown to some extent the teacher because of the globalization that comes with information explosion that students can learn even on their own on the internet. So if you are a teacher, a professional teacher that works yourself, and you don't keep on upgrading your knowledge and your skill, the children will learn on your behalf. And when they learn on your behalf and you go to the classroom and teach things that are no more applicable, a child will rise up to challenge you. And when a child challenges you 1, 2, 3 times, and then you find yourself fumbling in the classroom, you will lose your respect, you will lose your dignity, you will lose your inspiration. And when a teacher loses his inspiration in the classroom, you've lost leadership. And for that matter, it will be difficult for you to influence, impact on the child any longer. Very important. So we are individually, for our own credibility's sake, supposed to live above board as far as our area of specialization is concerned. I have been saying this, that in this era of globalization and information technology, if you are not informed as a professional, you are deformed, and the system will gradually spit out all deformed professionals that are not willing to upgrade, learn more to impact on the Ghanaian child. Responsibility to students. We are responsibility to the school community, and then responsibility and responsible and ethical use of technology. When our national president was giving his presentation 2 days ago, remember, he indicated his personal contribution to the development of a community that he encountered that was lacking water. He took it upon himself and joined the community leadership to fight for water, potable water for the community. That is that is a mark of a professional, a mark of professionalism that needs to be celebrated. Professional excellence. Excellence, I define excellence as highest quality, superior standard, extreme quality, a maximum quality, a constant effort to improve, to get better and outdo your previous all the time. That is excellence. In fact, excellence is the progressive realization of the highest standard of quality in life. Let me repeat that. Excellence is the progressive realization of the highest quality and highest standards. Teachers of excellence. I would like to share with you that excellence is not a gift, but a painstaking process which requires your personal responsibility, commitment, and self-discipline to realize. Excellence is not a glorified destination to be attained and rest for the rest of your life, but it's a lifelong journey of continuous improvement. Excellence is observable because we relate it relates to what we do in the classroom and outside the classroom. Excellence is observable. You will see it when someone is excellent in what he does in his professional duty. You will see it, even to the extent that your ardent critics cannot but to admit to say, as for this one there, the gentleman is good. As for this one there, the lady is good. And we all know when someone is consistently demonstrating excellence in his or her work in the school, we all admire the person, we all appreciate the person, and the person looks unique in our midst. It's observable. Excellence brings us out of the unknown. It stands out. It makes us stand out and up. I'm saying, let me repeat this once more. I said excellence brings us out of the unknown. And that's why I appreciate the Ghana Teacher Prize that was actually introduced, that was introduced by that is being championed by the National Teaching Council. And I particularly appreciate the rigorous process and procedure they go through to come out with the excellence we all need to celebrate as a nation. Very important. And it means I have seen a number of times professional teachers being posted to oversee hard to reach areas where there are no network, no potable water, no lights, and yet they go in there defying all the odds. They put in their best, work so hard, and before you realize, the headmaster is recommending and praising this particular teacher before the CISO. The CISO, upon observing by himself and upon his monitoring and evaluation, also begin to commend, recognize, and appreciate the effort and the good work of this teacher, and begin to say that before the directorate. The directorate zoom their eyes onto this gentleman or lady, and before realize, they all begin to say, wow, they appreciate the great job the gentleman is doing or the lady is doing in that remotest part of the country. And before you realize, such a person, because of his excellence or her excellence, is being projected by the circuit, projected by the directorate, projected by the region, projected to the national. And they will come to receive award to the admiration of all professionals across the country. So excellence brings out from the unknown. If you are even posted to the place that you think nobody will ever come, just brightens your corner. And I can assure you, your excellence that is being observable will soon be recognized and appreciated and celebrated by the whole nation. Very important. Excellence raises us up to the highest level. I've just said that. Excellence originates in your mind. It translates in your speech and demonstrates in your attitude or life. Let me repeat that. Excellence is not imposed. The directorate cannot impose excellence on any individual teacher. No, the CISO cannot impose excellence on any of the teachers in his or her circuit. No, the headmaster cannot impose excellence on any of his members of staff. No, it must originate from your mind as an individual, translate in your speech, demonstrate in your attitudes and life for others to see. So you realize that your external environment created by you is a reflection of your interior attitude as an individual, and that will certainly be seen and appreciated by society. Excellence is not imposed from the outside. It is released from the inside. Evidence or criteria indicating that a teacher has met or can meet the standard at the appropriate level must be in the form of a professional portfolio organized to meet the demands of the three domains. I said it earlier that the only yardstick by which we can measure to know whether you are meeting the standards, the three domains or not, is through portfolio organized to meet the three domains, portfolio development. And what then is portfolio? Portfolio is a concept used in many professions where professionals collect their best works over time and over a certain period of time to illustrate different aspects of their works, professional growth and abilities. Rich and Sandlin, 2000. The portfolio concept has also been adopted into teaching profession to encourage teachers to reflect and value their teaching with the aim of improving their practice. A portfolio is a purposeful collection of students or teachers' work that tells the story of a student or teacher's effort, progress, and or achievement in a given area over a period of time. The teaching portfolio concerns itself with the artifacts associated with the teaching learning process. Portfolio generally includes course portfolio, professional portfolio, and teaching portfolio. A portfolio is or can be described as a factual description of teachers' teaching strengths and accomplishment over a period of time. In other words, a teaching portfolio is a meaningful and purposeful collection of work or artifacts done by the teacher and designed to demonstrate his or her knowledge and skills in teaching over time. It's comparable to a CV. A CV that's supposed to reflect your life achievements in education, employment generally. But this one is more specific on your teaching practice and activities in and outside the classroom. Also, teaching portfolio has been described as an anthology of achievement that the teacher has accomplished both in their classroom and elsewhere. It is designed to display the teacher's talent, skill, knowledge, creativity, and proficiencies. It is a personal document and it varies from one teacher to the other. Hence, no two teachers will have the same portfolio. Once it has to do with your personal professional accomplishment, it will certainly vary. So there's no cut and paste in this. You have your course, your achievement, your strengths, your weaknesses, all reflecting in the portfolio you build. And the only way a supervisor will be able to actually be sure that you are complying and you are meeting the three domains of the national teacher standard is for you to systematically document your achievements, your strengths, your challenges in the form of a portfolio building. The looking through it gives evidence of your active participation in classroom activities and outside classroom activities. So I would like us to discuss this, and I'll come to you at this juncture. Why do we have to build our portfolio? I want to get your opinion regarding why you think there's a rationale or the need for us to build our portfolios. So let me go to the floor.
Catherine Chire.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, madam. What I want to say is we have to build our portfolio in order to help us identify our strengths, as Doc said, and also identify our weakness in order to build on it to improve upon our professional standards, our competencies in the work that we are doing. So as a head teacher or as a teacher, if you know your weakness and your strength, it will enable you to make the connections and also help you build and know where you are heading towards in order to achieve the goals and the objectives of the profession that you're doing. Thank you.
Fantastic, Madam Catherine. So grateful for that wonderful submission. Yes, who else?
Sumani Amadou.
Portfolio building is necessary. That is, it enables a teacher to improve his professional practice.
Ayisi Nyanga Robert.
Thank you very much. In my view, portfolio helps us to appreciate our situation and measure the progress of it therein. Thank you.
Good one there, Robert. Thank you very much. Yes.
Bena Abuaje.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. We build our portfolio in order to confidence in the professional that we are. Thank you.
Kevin Andy.
We build portfolio to help us in having a purposeful, reflective practice.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Stephen. Wow, Steve. God bless you. Yes.
Bawa Moses.
Thank you very much. Portfolio is important because it helps authorities to know your competence areas and to avoid the issue of putting square pegs in round holes. And that also helps them to put you in an area that you can function effectively.
Nasruddin Nantiere.
Thank you for the opportunity. Portfolio building leads or aids us to landing new opportunities.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Se-
Wow. Wow. Well done there. Thank you.
secondly, portfolio building also helps us to stand out in a competitive market.
Wow. 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 In
And
fact,
my
there's
la-
a basis for comparison. Thank you very much,
and my
Nantiere.
last point, it
Hey, the
helps
man
us to
above is coming.
demonstrate our expertise and capabilities.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nasruddin Nantiere. We are so grateful.
Kingsford Derek.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think with regards to portfolio building, it serves as a kind of identity to you, the teacher, and also set a standard to the teacher as well. Thank you.
Oh, great one there. Thank you very much, Kingsford Derry, for that wonderful submission.
Yes, portfolio building guides us and others, especially when we publish our portfolio to dealing with societal, professional, and career building of ourselves and others in society. Thank you.
Awesome one there. Awesome. Awesome. Robert, thanks so much. Yes. Next person.
Wahab.
Yes, sir. Dr. James Ziekye, thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to say that as you have eloquently and rightly explained portfolio, it's like your Mayeye bag. Let me use that terminology, where you have all aspects of your profession in there. Where one, you have your philosophy of teaching. The philosophy of teaching is tied to an individual unique as a person and as a teacher, as a professional teacher. What is your philosophy of teaching? Are you teaching at the KG, the JHS, the SHS? What is your philosophy? And this is quite unique. And so in your portfolio, you have that aspect called philosophy, where you put your philosophy there. And your philosophy cannot be there for years. It has to be there just for a year, because you cannot have the same philosophy this year and next year probably you are transferred to a different school and you have the same philosophy. Then the next one has to do with the reflective practice. As a teacher, or as a manager, or as a CEO of your school, you, after every day, you need to do some reflection. After every week, you need to do some reflection. After every lesson you teach, you need to do some reflection. What are the strengths and what are the weaknesses of the lesson I have delivered? What are the strengths and the weaknesses of the assessment I have made on my students after having taught this strand of the subject? And so that is also an aspect of your portfolio, which is very important.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Alhaji
Okay,
Wahab.
thank you very much. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thank you very
In
much.
fact, this particular topic, as I said, when we come to the question and answers, all of you are panel members, and there's no speaker in this matter. Because it is something applicable we've been doing and we've been carrying out. I want you to share your experiences across so that we can have cross-fertilization of ideas regarding how we can march forward and build strong and powerful, very inspirational portfolio for ourselves. So thank you very much. I'm grateful. I'm speaking to great professionals who have gotten the experience and have blazed a trail in several areas, and then we are going to learn together. Thanks so much.
Portfolio building affords us self-confidence through professional confidence.
Wow. Thank you very much for your wonderful submissions, and thanks so much for your contribution and your active participation in this particular presentation. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. So, why build a teaching portfolio? Purpose of portfolio building, and it's exactly all that you have all indicated. It helps you to assess your teaching strengths and area that needs improvement. It enables you to reflect on your goals as a teacher. It is a means for documenting your progress as a teacher. It is used to generate ideas for future teaching or course development. It can be used. You can use it to identify your teaching style. What is portfolio assessment? It is a collection of students or teachers' work that are associated with standards you are required to learn or practice. You see, I was telling you, I was just discussing it previously, that the standard becomes the yardstick by which your activities can be evaluated. It becomes the benchmark. Very important. This collection of works is often gathered over a long period of time to reflect his or her accomplishment. Portfolio assessment continued. The teaching portfolio can be either summative, that is for promotion, license renewal, etc., or formative, that is to say, informed teaching and learning for personal or professional development. The development of the professional portfolio is now considered an important process for documenting performance and professional growth. Currently, we want to look at the rationale for portfolio assessment. Currently, the portfolio is a major component of the extensive documentation, which is a requirement for all teachers at the pre-tertiary level. We all know that. Portfolios provide a more direct measure of student or teacher achievement than traditional multi-choice tests. So in a way, the traditional multi-choice test that you will probably, when you're going for promotion, you wait for 3 years, they set up a multi-choice question, you go and they ask you a question like, what was the name of the first group of people that used to be the Europeans designed their education to target? And they say Mulatto, Momento, Tomonto. And then when you miss one, you miss it. Just because you have missed that, and this one has nothing to do with your actual practice, professional practice in the classroom. But for this, you are gathering your data based on your performance to show as evidence of your active involvement and participation in the teaching and learning process. Very important. They have high fidelity or transparency and meaningfulness. They are considered a valuable tool for educational reform by policy makers. Now, the features of teaching portfolio. We have a good teaching portfolio should have the following characteristics. Number one, it must be structured. Structured here, we are talking about it must be well organized, complete, creative in its presentation. There must be a logical and coherent arrangement of the artifacts to reflect your practice, reflect your experience, and reflect your achievement in the classroom or your strength in the classroom and outside the classroom. Number two, it must be representative. It should represent comprehensiveness, the scope of work, and should cut across course and time. Just as someone was saying, you have experience from across different levels in your teaching practice and in your teaching profession. Experience probably with kindergarten, experience with the primary, even within the primary, you have the lower and upper, and sometimes in the other JSS. So it must cut across all that. It must be selective. Only the relevant required materials should be selected for the portfolio. It's not everything about the teacher's achievement that must be included. No, you select the most relevant ones that tells a story about your achievement, a story about your strengths, and a story about your weaknesses and challenges. And as somebody already eloquently indicated, to enable your employer design tailor-made programs, courses, and training to enhance your teaching and learning practice. Importance of teaching portfolio. Give the historical and professional development of a teacher. Open up one's development on teaching to the outside world of the teaching profession gives evidence. And let me say this particular point, you realize that your portfolio is normally at these artifacts that come together to constitute your portfolio are normally uploaded on your teacher's portal. And I hope there will be time we'll organize this thing and tell you exactly where these things are uploaded, so that gradually you can start building your portfolio even from the beginning of the year. So you don't wait until it's December that you are all rushing to upload, and the system get jammed up and you're not able to finish, and then a whole lot of confusion. So what really happens is, once all these evidence are uploaded on your portal, any professional body that's actually looking for a teacher, qualified, competent teachers who probably who were their soul and are teachers in good standing. That's the word. Professional teachers in good standing. They'll go and have a look at your portfolio to see what you have done in the past. And that can serve as a basis for selection and promotion into higher office as far as the teaching and learning, and as far as your teaching profession is concerned. Very important. Provides a documented evidence of one's teaching connected to the specifics and context of what is being taught. It mirrors the teacher's commitment and sacrifice to teaching. It provides a better assessment for those who hire, promote, and evaluate teachers. This one, Mr. Nasruddin Nantiere, made that point. Stimulate discussions about teaching and pedagogy. Gives the teacher control over the process as a compiler and an editor. So you gradually and systematically compile your own portfolio to reflect your historical professional journey. Very important. And I will come back to you at this juncture to find out from you the material you think are necessary for you to collect and gather to constitute what we call the portfolio.
Sumane Amadou.
Evidence of teachers' lesson plans.
Wonderful. Correct for 3 points. Yes, next.
Next, Catherine Chire.
Catherine.
All right. The evidence of the work output, that is learners' exercises that we gave and the projects that we give to our learners.
Excellent. Thank you very much, my sister. Wow, I like the answers that are popping up. Yes, next.
Well, in the chat box, somebody saying evidence of teachers' completion of a course.
Good one there. Thank you very much, my brother. Yes, next.
Solomon will say,
I am a CISO, so my itinerary and the report, and also pictures of mentoring and coaching of my staff members are those things I think I can approve.
Thank you very much, Solo. You just hit the nail on the head. Yes. So
yes,
for those, that's a powerful answer. For those of us who are not in the classroom, just listen to what Solo said. You have to consider your responsibility, and based on that, you can produce the evidence. Thank you very much, Solo. So yes, materials to be put in our teaching portfolio. Number one, as we already mentioned, is the teaching portfolio that was already defined clearly by Alhaji Hamid. A scheme of learning, the lesson plan, a reflective log, teacher training logbook, an action research work, write-up on assessment methods used, copies of learners' activities, photos and videos on lessons, reports on co-curricular activities, reflective practice, report on core competencies, a report on your involvement in a school-based activity, evidence of in-service training attended. These are mostly the key artifact that needs to be included in your teaching portfolio, and we shall be taking some of them one by one so that we can digest and then understand what goes into each of them to enable you upload on your portfolio for the portfolio assessor. Good. So steps for compiling a teaching portfolio. Number one, you need to clarify teaching responsibilities. That's why when the CISO Solomon said he was a CISO, and he specifically, based on his responsibility, was able to come up with the activities as evidence of his his work as artifacts. It was so commendable. Thank you very much, Solo, once again. Then reflect on your teaching goals and philosophy. Teaching goals, philosophy, and style. Review your works. Examine each component and brainstorm about kinds of materials that would be ideal to include. Organize the content to support your purpose and the evaluator's guideline or requirement. The evaluator here can be the regulator who will assess your performance, assess your achievement, go through your portfolio on the portal at your blind side, and award or reward you accordingly. Very important. Write your statement of philosophy. Very important. Select relevant pieces that's your best evidence of information and items for the portfolio. Prepare a statement on each item. Arrange items in order. Data could be documented in a notebook. Alternatively, store on an electronic storage device. Finally, submit your portfolio to your assigned assessor and upload the same on the teacher's portal for assessment and validation. That is the process. I want to say this. You can create a folder and label the folder as my portfolio. Then each of the individual artifacts or information that is required for you to upload, you begin to gather them one by one and keep putting them into that folder called my portfolio. So that when as you gather them, you check them. So when you get to the last one, it means you have all the required artifacts necessary to be uploaded on your portal for assessment. You submit that to your portfolio assessor, either in the school or within the circuit or the district, who will go through it and make sure everything you have put is in place before you finally upload that on the portal for the assessment, for validation and assessment. Now, the teaching philosophy. It is not, ladies and gentlemen, it is not for nothing that teaching philosophy constitutes the number one artifact that every teacher must design or craft to in the course of developing your portfolio. And I will spend 5 to 10 minutes here in demystifying this concept of philosophy for us to understand and to know why it is constituting the foundation to the building of your teacher's portfolio. And let me take you through a little bit, a journey of a philosophy. Philosophy, as the word goes, it originates from, first of all, your thought. Your original thought is called a precept. What comes to your mind first as a thought, we call the original thought, it's called a precept. When the thought, that could be one or two, that they may not be somehow related, when they come together, they constitute what we call a concept. Con means one, and set means thought. So when your different or related or unrelated thoughts comes together to constitute one idea, is called a concept. That's why if you are submitting a document for a proposal or a document for consideration for funding or whatever, they normally ask you to produce a concept note. The concept note is a precise, centralized idea that speaks to a particular situation that you intend to address. So it has become one. It may be so different ideas now concretize that idea and it becomes one. That's called a concept. So a concept is a conceived thought. A concept develops into what we call an idea. An idea develops into what we call an ideology. Ideology are the idea that you believe in, that you believe, the thoughts that you believe are called ideology. That's why you have different ideological people from different ideological background, and your ideology produces a belief system. And this word is very important. Belief system. A belief system by which you interpret whatever that comes to your mind. If there is an issue to be discussed, and the moment you take the issue on board, it has to go through your belief system, and your belief system interprets based on the ideas you have. Your belief system gives you an interpretation based on what you hold dear as an idea. That's very important. It's like they call it a system because it goes through a process of interpretation, a process of assessment, evaluation, and it comes out with a conclusion. Your belief system produces what we call the philosophy. When your belief system your ideology get concretized, it produces your philosophy. Your philosophy is your way of thinking. Your philosophy is the way you view the world, the way you interpret the world. That is your philosophy. And your philosophy determines whatever that you do as a professional in the classroom and outside the classroom. Your philosophy defines your life. And if your philosophy is wrong, if your philosophy is erroneous, what you do will be affected. And it is your philosophy that produces your mentality. And this word mentality is a strong word. Whatever you formed in your mind and believe in your heart about a particular situation, that is it. And your mentality produces your attitude. So you see why, as a profession, the regulator is very specific and intentional about knowing our philosophy. If you have a dangerous philosophy emanating from a wrong source of ideas you have gathered over the years, that will be assessed by the regulator. That will be assessed by our supervisors, and they will know that this kind of philosophy will not help the Ghanaian child, and they will help correct it before you go on probably to implement or demonstrate that in your attitude in the classroom. Very important. So you see, philosophy is what defines your attitude and your mentality. Very important. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, now let's now go. That's why every teacher in Ghana is supposed to have a teaching philosophy. A teaching philosophy is your belief about teaching, your belief, your stand when it comes to the teaching and learning. That is critical. And we cannot, the regulators and the key stakeholders in education cannot take it for granted that every philosophy coming from a teacher is correct. That's why you need to submit it for assessment. Very important. And no matter your power of pedagogy, there must be a philosophical foundation upon which your pedagogy is built. If the philosophy is wrong, your pedagogy will be affected. And that is why philosophy is the foundation to building your portfolio. Very important. Now let's come to the format for teaching philosophy. It must have an introduction. It must have a statement of the philosophy within the philosophy itself. It must have an application. You must demonstrate the applicability of the philosophy, the validity and the effectiveness of the philosophy. Very important. All must be demonstrated within the philosophy itself. So develop your own teaching philosophy. A teaching philosophy statement is a purposeful, reflective essay about the author's teaching beliefs and practices. It is an individual narrative that includes not only one's belief about the teaching and learning process, but also concrete examples of the ways in which he or she ignites these beliefs in the classroom. You see, your attitude is a product of your belief system. What you believe is what you ignite. What you believe in your heart or in your mind is what you demonstrate. And that's why I was talking about the philosophy being the bedrock of your portfolio development. A well-crafted teaching statement gives a clear and unique portrait of the authors as a teacher. So someone, very experienced professional teachers or the supervisors can look at your teaching philosophy and will be able to predict to a high degree of certainty what you will be doing in the classroom, what the styles, methods, and pedagogy you'll be employing in the classroom. They will be able to tell you that based on the philosophy you craft. So writing a teaching philosophy statement. How to write a great teaching philosophy statement. Number one, include an introduction, body, and conclusion. Number two, keep it brief. In fact, a great teaching philosophy statement must be sexy, certain, attractive, and straight to the point. I'd say it must be like a mini skirt. Oh yes, you heard me right. a great teaching philosophy statement must be like a miniskirt. It must be long enough to cover the vital parts, the vital subject matter, but short enough to arouse the interest of anyone reading it. And that's what miniskirts do. Miniskirts, that's what miniskirt does. Miniskirt, the people who wear them, they wear them to cover the vital parts. It must be long enough to cover the vital parts, but short enough to arouse the interest of the onlookers. And that is how your philosophy statement must be. It must be a boring and dull kind of thing. No, it must be such that when an assessor, a portfolio assessor or evaluator or a validator reads it, he will want to follow up and find out really what is this teacher about, and what is he going to do, what you'll be imagining what you'll be doing in the classroom. Use first person present tense, avoid technical jargon, and discuss strategies and methods. Very important. So we want to look at some examples here. I'll just go through one example. I'll move on to the rest. And this is an example of a teaching philosophy by teacher Amina. Teacher Abina. My philosophy of teaching is that all children are unique and must have a stimulating educational environment where they can grow physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. It is my desire to create this type of an atmosphere where students can meet their full potential. I will provide a safe environment where students are invited to share their ideas and take risks. I believe that there are 5 essential elements that are conducive to learning. Number 1, the teacher's role is to act as a guide. 2, students must have access to hands-on activities. 3, students should be able to have choices and let their curiosity direct their learning. 4, students need the opportunity to practice skills in a safe environment. And 5, technology must be incorporated into the school day. This is an example of a teaching philosophy statement. And let's see, I want to ask a comment a little to comment on this one. With this philosophy, if I'm an assessor or a supervisor, knowing your philosophy to have been crafted in this way, I don't expect to come to your classroom, bump into you in your class, or visit you unannounced in your classroom and see you teaching without teaching and learning resource, because you have stated here categorically that you provide access to hands-on activities. So there must be some teaching and learning resource for manipulation and to enhance the teaching and learning and make it more effective and more participatory. That's one of them. And you also promise in your philosophy to provide congenial, safe environment for children to explore and practice. We expect when an assessor comes to your class, bump into you, or comes to you unannounced, he expects to see a reflection of this philosophy statement being demonstrated in the classroom. Very important. So as I said, I'll move on. This is just one example. Then we move on to reflective practice. What does it mean? Reflective practice in teaching involves teachers regularly analyzing their teaching methods, strategies, and resolve to improve their practice and enhance student learning outcomes. It is a cyclical process of self-evaluation, self-observation, evaluation, and adaptation, fostering continuous professional development. That's what reflective practice does. And the new format for reflective practice, and you can all see on the screen that these are all familiar things as far as our lesson note preparations are concerned. These are familiar things. So it is your reflection is normally based on whatever goes into the teaching and learning process. First of all, the definition, reflective practice. You have a lesson plan, you have a subject, you have a class, you have a strand, your substrand, indicator code, content standard, performance indicators, core competences, the keywords, the learning resource, references, the phrase, the first stage of the lesson, the starter, the second stage, the main, the plenary, reflections, challenges, innovation, strength, and insight. That is the structure as far as the new curriculum is concerned for our our reflective practice. How do you reflect on your practice? Let us look at the following 4 steps. Number 1, a description of the event. And the event here is your lesson. 2, analysis and interpretation of the event. That's what we just went through. 3, meaning and application, strengths and weaknesses. Then we have the implication for action. So if you reflect through a lesson you have delivered, you would have seen, the nuances of the presentation in its form, both the low and the high. And you are able to identify the areas that you did so well that you will like to improve more, and the area that you have performed poorly in terms of your delivery and which requires some remedy. And that is the implication and call for action. So step 1, description of the event. The first and most important step of reflective practice is to gather information about what happens in the classroom so it can be unpicked and analyzed. Write a description of the teaching experience using the following questions as a guide. What was I trying to achieve? Number 1. What did I do? Number 2. What were the effects of what I did or did not do? Number 4. Then you come to the step 2, analysis and interpretation of the event. Write your analysis. Some of the following questions must help you analyze the event. We have, why do I think things happen the way they did? Why did I choose to act the way I did? For example, as you are teaching, in the course of teaching, a child misbehaves in the classroom and your temperament went high and you acted in ways that's not professional. In the course of reflection, you ask yourself, why did I choose to act the way I did? And this question is a humbling question that will enable you to begin, now that you are out of the emotional loop, you will be able to reason out to say, oh, I shouldn't have done it this way. I should have done it A or B in this way. That's right. Why did I respond as I did? And all these things are helping to improve. See, reflections seem to be meant for feedback, but I call them feed forward. I call them feed forward because you identify your strengths, your weaknesses, improve upon your weaknesses to feed into the next lesson in a more improved manner. And that's what I call it, feed forward. Step 3, so what? Meaning and application. Being able to describe something and find out why it happened that way is not enough to improve your teaching. Consider the following questions at this stage, and then you ask yourself, what were the essential strengths of the lesson? Beautiful one there. What did I do that was not effective? Where did I need improvement as a teacher? And this one is key to enable you and to enable your supervisor and the school as a whole, get some kind of capacity that will close the gap. Very important. What are some other ways to present the lesson that would be just as effective or more effective? So when you ask yourself this question, a call for creativity and innovation. You are now exploring beyond the confines of your what you have learned already. Now you are going to go far and do more research. What have I learned from this? How can I improve? How might this change my teaching in the future? Beautiful question. How might this change my teaching in the future? And that's why we said excellence is not a glorified destination. It's a progressive realization of the highest standard, the highest quality. And that's very important. And there's no way you can stop at one point and say, I have done it all, I have gotten it all, and that is all for me. Step 4. Now what? Implication and action. I think I've done that. At this stage, reflection moves into action planning. The most powerful reflection focuses on student learning, how you will vary your teaching to improve learning for your students. You see, reflection is just centrally in improvement. Number 4, what will I do differently? Can I think of another way I might have taught this lesson? Can I modify or change my teaching if a similar situation were to happen again? What help do I need to assist me act on the results of my reflection? You see, and with this question, if it demands that the next lesson probably you were not familiar with the concept or the strand or the sub-strand that you are teaching, and it requires that you bring in a teacher to support you. Either during PLC, you itemize your challenges in the particular subject area, discuss it openly and objectively at the PLC, and then you will have colleagues contributing to support you with ideas regarding how you can do it better. And that is why the professional learning community is very important. And yesterday, as we're talking, all the professions, the lawyers, the doctor, that's what they do. They meet after a case, they go to sit down and have a reflection, and then when he's come out, this one will come out with a challenge in the court that confronted him, and it was difficult for him to maneuver his way through legally. So what happened? He brings it forth, and the other places, you should have said that, you could have said that. They give you alternative solutions, and you get out from this PLC, professional learning community, highly empowered and equipped to go in and deliver a wonderful and inspirational lesson. Very important. Some different ways of reflecting on your practice. Number one, you need to have what we call a teacher diary or journal. So as you teach, you itemize and take note of some of the things, some of the happening, noting your own reactions and feelings, as well as those of the students. You take note of all that. And you can also have what we call a peer observation. You get some of your teachers to come and stand by the window or come and sit in the classroom as you do the presentation or you do the delivery. They observe, and after the lesson, you go to sit down with them, and then they come back to you with giving you feedbacks that will enable you improve upon your lesson delivery the next time. We can also have videoing practice. Yeah, you can do a video recording of teachers' lessons is valuable because it provides an unaltered and unbiased vantage point for how effective the lesson was from both the teacher and the student perspective. A video also acts as an additional set of eyes to catch destructive behavior that may not have been spotted at the time. So you get a colleague of yours to video you throughout the presentation or your delivery. You go and sit down and watch your own delivery and see your own mannerism and see the reaction to the student. You ask a question and you gauge all that, and that enables you to improve upon your subsequent lesson delivery. Very important. And then also encouraging reflective discussions. If videoing or analyzing their own practice feel like a big hurdle for your teachers, a great starting point can be to simply get them together in a small group, in person or online, to watch a publicly available video of another teacher, and then encourage discussion about the teaching and learning they have observed. So sometimes when you are criticizing or critiquing your own self, it sometimes looks so awful and uncomfortable. And to avoid that, because of that, people may not want to subject themselves to quote unquote such humiliation and embarrassment. So what you can do is you get a popular video clip of a teacher doing a presentation either from the YouTube. It has nothing to do with any of you personally. You can all objectively and openly criticize and then make critiques to it and then learn the valuable lessons from it. That's what I'm talking about. The plenary. We have learned, ladies and gentlemen, that excellence is not a gift. It is not imposed. We also learned a teaching portfolio deals with the artifacts of teaching. A good teaching portfolio should be structured, selective, and representative. A good portfolio deals with the historical and professional development of the teacher. Materials for teaching portfolio should include all course planning, teaching presentations, assessments of students, and development of one's field. Development on one's field. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the intelligent teacher teaches, the superior teacher demonstrates, but the great teacher inspires. Ladies and gentlemen, if your life as a professional teacher is such that it inspires the learner to think more, do more, learn more, think more, and become more, then you are a great teacher. I therefore conclude by commending all of you. Let's go out there and do all the good we can, in all the ways we can, to all the people we can, as long as we ever can, in delivering inspirational lessons to our children to turn the current generation to fulfill their purpose and destiny in life. Thank you very much for the great work you have been doing all along in this country. We salute you and we commend you for the great job that is turning Ghana around gradually and gradually. Thanks so much for your attention and your audience.
It's now time for questions, contributions, and suggestions. Mr. Gabriel.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Doc. And thank you, Mr. Host. My first question is on this portfolio building. When NTC came up, this thing was done and teachers were ready to do it. And some teachers tried to do their best by making sure that they put all these that has been listed. But unfortunately, we were not able to get what we call our reward. We went through all these processes. I mean, purchasing. I am technical teacher, so I have to purchase some tools, use them to teach the kids. Aside that, I'm also a PE teacher, at the same time a zonal organizer and also a member of the district team. With all these, I think if NTC were to do the right and move the structures well, I think a lot of teachers will get involved in making sure that they build their portfolio and build it well. But unfortunately, you do all these, you upload them, and nothing will be given to you. So once we have our deputy registrar on this platform, I believe something will be done on it for teachers to get more interested in making sure that they build their portfolio. And also the other question I want to ask is, who is our after building all this portfolio, who is our assessor? Who is our assessor? Is it one person, or are they allocated certain assessors for various districts or various zones, or what have you? So I want to know that one too. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next person is Elias Azum Bawene.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator, for the opportunity. And I want to thank Director so much, Mr. James. I have attended a workshop that he has organized before, and I just want to thank him so much for giving us so much knowledge and skill in regards to our profession. And I want to encourage him to continue doing the good works. All the workshops I have attended whilst he's the one in charge, I have benefited so much. And I want to encourage other teachers or professionals to join symposiums, workshops, or seminars like this. Because it is the only way we can keep the profession alive. It is the only way we can maintain the standards. It is one of the ways by which we can impact our students with positive knowledge and skill so that they can go out there and make the world a better place. So for me, I have learned a lot. I just want to thank him for the good work he's doing. I like the knowledge that he assumes. It is so interesting listening to him. So that is what I just want to add. I don't have a question. I know my colleagues probably will have a lot of questions that they want to ask. I'm ready to listen and also benefit from it. Thank you so much.
Madam Catherine Chere.
Oh, thank you very much for this opportunity. Please, mine is not a question, but it's all about NTC and this portfolio building. In fact, from Monday up to now, looking at the things and all the knowledge I've gathered through this workshop, I would like to comment that more education should be done so the teachers will understand and know the reason and why they have to build this portfolio. Because you build it, you know that you have exercises, you have all the ways that you're supposed to upload. But how to upload it and even do it is a problem. You being a head teacher, you don't even know how to go about it. You don't even understand why your teachers should do it. And as we are going through the workshop, what we see is it's all about teachers. But the supervisors, the monitors, the head teachers, and the teachers too, what are we supposed to upload? How do we do it? And how do we go about it? So we are pleading with NTC in collaboration with GS and with our teacher union, NAT, coming together to educate teachers. What teachers hate is paying money for workshops. But when we are well educated and understand the issue, because looking at the lot of things that goes down here, that is why most teachers are not motivated to participate in workshops, because what we know is it's all about the money we are taking from the workshop, but not the knowledge or the experiences that we're going to get from these workshops. So more education should be done for us to understand why we're supposed to build this portfolio, why we're supposed to engage ourselves in NCC things, and also have our portal in order to also build our portfolios to help us know much about the work that we are doing. So it's just a plea and a recommendation to NTC, GES, and also that of NAT to help the teachers to also have the fair idea in these workshops, because most of the teachers know that it's because of the money. That is why they are doing the workshop. Because looking at the huge amount of money that they will charge for these workshops, you go for the workshop and you see the number of people in the hall. Nothing shows that you're going to get something from it. So at least something must be done. The leaders must also come down and help us understand, educate us on it. Thank you very much.
Madam Gladys Amponsa.
Please, just as my sister was saying, concerning those working at the education office, when you want to build a portfolio, when you click on the information that is expected is about the teacher. So how can those of us who are working at the education office also build our portfolio? Thank you very much.
Mr. Ameyao Mustafa.
I first of all want to thank the Global Life Changers. In fact, this is one of the important workshops I have ever attended. In fact, the topic is a very good topic, and I even want to ask where was this topic? In fact, it should have come earlier. It should have come earlier. When we open our NTC portal, you realize that the portfolio aspect is empty. You see that 2020, 2021 to 2022, you see that they will say it's closed, and you can't, even when you open it, you can't do anything with it. 2022, 2023, close. It's like we don't know what to do as to how to upload your portfolio document. I don't even know which documents, where to get it, and how to upload it. In fact, 90% of teachers are facing this challenge. And even in the school, you don't even know which documents will be used as your portfolio records. So we find it very difficult to upload it from the app. I thank Mr. Ziekye so much, but we need more education on this as to how to upload the portfolio documents. Thank you very much.
Mr. David Kwanzaa.
My question is the portfolio building, does it attract CDP points, or is like for your well-being that you use it so that in the near future you can refer to it to assess your progress, or to use it somewhere if possibly if you are traveling? That's my first question. And the next one isn't a question but a suggestion. My suggestion is that, you see, those of us who had the opportunity to take part in this particular symposium is those of us who have been benefiting from Global Life Changers Group. So I'm suggesting that the managers should work in hand with the Ghana Education Service, especially the district directors and the municipal directors and the metropolitan directors. For instance, I'm in Brekum District West. They can come up and link up with the director so that he will organize a district-wide workshop or symposium like this for us. Because not all of us had opportunity to be part of this symposium, though we send it across many of our platforms. But it's like gathering all of them at a point of time to give these tutorials and educations, to me, will be the best. So I'm suggesting the managers to work in hands with GS and possibly with NITE so that they can organize such programs for us in the various districts to capture every teacher. Because by so doing, it's going to be like a compulsory, because the district is organizing it. So every teacher should participate. And I think that will help us to have a more insight about this portfolio building and whatever is needed in our professional job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll begin from the last question or submission. Thank you very much, my brother. Yes, I have been a district-wide training on this. We, as a service provider, we are available upon the invitation of your directorates. If you get yourself organized, those of you who are representing the various districts and municipalities on this platform, if you get yourself organized and you reach out to your directorate and then probably let them see the need to have a district-wide training on this, we will willingly come down, stay with you, and make sure that we take every teacher through the portfolio and into the portal, and take you through, walk you through the portal, walk you through the portfolio artifacts that are supposed to be uploaded, so that you will all have a hands-on approach to it and get yourself set up so that for subsequent years, you will be doing it independently. We are willing to do that. So you can take it up at your various municipality, districts, and metropolitan directorates. And that's why I put out my numbers there. If they call us, and even though we have a lot of speaking engagement across the country and beyond, education is our priority as an organization. And that is why we are glad to be collaborating with the National Teaching Council, the Ghana Education Service, and other major stakeholders in education to organize some of these programs. So if you call us, we will link up with our regulators and get the necessary approval so that we can come down and do the training, stay around. And for us, when we come, we normally want to have, just like some of you, actually alluded to, we do not want to crowd people, thousands of teachers in one big auditorium. No, we normally want to do it possibly in cohorts. So we come and stay through and have it done in cohort. But the challenge for most service providers is that they don't normally get a number. They're not always sure of the numbers before they arrive. So if you indicate that today is a training and you have given the opportunity for the district to organize them, and then the numbers are few, you anticipate a lower number, you give 1 day for, let's say, 100 or 200, you give 1 day for that training, only to get there on that day, and you realize that most of most of the teachers are not coming to register, and that's where the challenge is. You cannot also turn them back and say, please go and come, and you see, it will be so offensive and it will not be professional. So let's all take it upon ourselves and keep on with education. But we are available. We will be willing to come down and have face-to-face face-to-face interaction to have the impact fully realized. And does it attract portfolio building attract points? Yes, from my studies and also from what I have learned, if you are able to satisfy all the requirements by supplying and uploading all the necessary artifacts, there is someone at the National Teaching Council that's normally assigned. They assign somebody they call the portfolio assessor. He or she goes into your portal at your blind side and begin to assess to make sure that to assess to be sure and to assess and then see whether you'll be able to satisfy all the requirements. So that one, they don't tell you before going in. So yours is to just keep on building, keep on doing the right thing, and keep on uploading all the necessary artifacts there and leave the rest to NTC. They normally assign portfolio assessors to go into our portal at our blind side and then do the evaluation and the validation. Then, they give points. If you are able to meet the requirement, I think from what I learned, they give points. You receive points for that. How to upload? Yes, they have to. We could have used. There's no way we could use such a platform to teach you how to. Even though in some districts that we have been to, we have given that. We have helped them to upload their artifacts. We've taken them through the training and we've helped them to upload their artifacts. But we can't do it online. That's why, as some of you have appealed, if we have the opportunity to come to your district, we will do that for you. And then the rest are appreciation to global life changers for the great work we are doing. We are grateful for your appreciation. We are doing well because you are doing well. We are doing well because of your support, your unflinching support, unwavering commitment to our cause. And we will not let you down. I must be very frank with you. I must be honest. We will never let you down. So you can always be sure that we will do everything possible to to champion your interests as far as your training needs are concerned. Thank you very much. Then I think more education on the part of NTC. Yes, I know NTC is a very proactive and dynamic council led by some powerful leaders, and I know they have put in a lot, and very soon they'll be rolling out a lot of things to empower the teachers and give education to clear some of the things that we're not sure and we're not sure about. The information will be supplied. And yesterday Doc was telling us, they write a lot of materials, and those materials will soon be given out to enhance the education of the activities they carry out. So be rest assured, I know very well that with Doc and then the registrar and others, they're concerned. They have put in a lot of strategies, a lot of mechanisms to make sure they reach out to all the teachers across the country and to make sure we are abreast. Thanks so much. And then I know if Doc is here, she may come in to probably add to what I've just said. And then okay, yeah, who is our assessor? Our main Doc already said it yesterday. We have the regulators who are watching us, who are watching over us, all of us. So your assessor, technically speaking, is the National Teaching Council. They will assign individual as portfolio assessors to assess and report to the council. So please don't take anything for granted. Just do that. Don't say because you did it the last time there was nothing, and then you didn't see any evidence of monitoring. They do, my brother. They do. So please let's and they are being, I can say, they don't want to apply the law to its fullness because education has not gone down well, so well, and they are still trying to, they want us, all of us, to be abreast with our responsibilities before they can. If they want to crack the whip by actually implementing law, a lot of us will be affected, and that's why they have been so diplomatic and professional in handling some of these things. Yeah, so it's not that they are weak. It's not that they don't know what they are doing. They know, and they want every teacher to understand the system, understand your role in this whole business, and take on your role seriously, and so that there will not be any frictions when they begin to implement some of the things. Thanks so much.
Mr. Wahab Abdul.
Thank you very much, moderator. I just want to encourage my friends and brothers and fellow participants who are from the Upper East and are here with us that after this enlightening and eye-opening symposium, our teachers and CISOs and directors in Upper East would encourage full participation in training, especially from global life changers, because we have had series of attempts to train teachers in Upper East, and normally the participation is always low. And so I can see Mr. Robert from Navrongo Municipal, a very tough place. You are here. Robert Ayesinga, the Municipal Corps Secretary. I can also see Mr. Norbert from Bolga and Nabdam and other places. I'm just encouraging them that this is an all-important and eye-opening symposium. You have heard and experienced the worth of global life changes. And so after this, let's do our best to encourage our colleague teachers to benefit and build their points. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Wahab. We are so grateful.
Mr. Prosper.
Yes, sir, Mr. Host. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Doctor, thank you. That's a powerful presentation. My issue is I'm actually doubting whether the NTC portal is actually active or is different. Why am I saying that? I uploaded my promotion letter for change of rank for some yes, there's a document for over 4 years now. It has not been effected. Late, our PLC at my district where I am, PLC has not been credited. It was credited previously. It was credited previous years, but of late nothing has been done. I mean, for the past 3 years, the PLC we attend, curriculum lead will tell us that they've actually loaded every information, but you see, it's only absent, or pending, or something else, which is actually demotivating some of us for even participating in the PLC either. Thank you very much. So, doctor, please, you send it to the NTC our leaders to find out exactly what is happening to the portal. Thank you very much.
But let me add this. The NTC portal, there are certain things you cannot change by yourself on the portal. And there are things that you can also change by yourself on the portal. For instance, if you were teaching in Ashanti region and now move to Volta, you can change that. You can change that by yourself. You can change the region, you change to the new region, the district, the circuit, and the school by yourself. But things like change of your name, probably upgrade, what do you call it? Changing of your grades on the system. You need evidence. You need to prove that. You need to submit some documentary evidence to the appropriate authorities to validate, and based on that, those changes can be made. I wish to take this opportunity to thank you all for your comportment, your composure, your contribution to the success of this particular presentation. Thank you for your wonderful submissions, and it's been so interactive and participatory. God bless you all.